Once upon a time in a village nestled between rolling hills and a dark and scary forest, there lived a giant. Not just any giant, mind you, but a truly enormous giant. His house was at the edge of the village, and the villagers could see it from their windows, looming over the rooftops like a crooked tooth. The giant was so big that when he walked through the streets, the houses shook and the people inside fell off their chairs. He was always covered in mud, and his footsteps made deep ruts in the road. The villagers were very afraid of the giant. They didn't know where he'd been or what he'd been doing, and they didn't want to find out. But they all agreed that it was best to stay away from him. One day, a little girl named Alara wandered into the forest. She had been picking flowers with her friends, and she lagged behind the group, chasing a butterfly. Before she knew it, the sun had dipped below the trees, and she couldn't find her way home. The little girl started to cry. She didn't know the forest like her mother did. All the trees looked alike, and she was too scared to walk in the dark and not know where she was going. Just then a twig snapped, and she heard footsteps coming closer. She peeked out from behind a tree, and what do you think she saw? The giant. And he was walking right towards her. The little girl froze with fear. She couldn't run away. She couldn't climb the tree. What was she supposed to do? Then the giant stopped in front of her, and the girl looked up at him, tears streaming down her face. The giant wasn't scary up close, she realized, and he didn't seem angry. He was actually frowning, and he sounded very kind when he asked, "Little one, why are you in the forest, and why are you crying?" Alara sniffed back a sob and told the giant about how she got lost while picking flowers for her mother. The giant listened patiently, and when she finished, he said, "Don't worry, I'll help you find your way home." Then he picked her up and walked towards the edge of the forest. Every few steps, he would bend down and ask, "Can you see your house yet, little one?" But Alara shook her head. She was too small to see over the tops of the trees. Finally, the giant stopped and looked down at her. "Well, this is the edge of the forest," he said. "I can't go any farther. You'll have to find your way from here." He reached out and gently wiped the tears from her face with a large, calloused thumb. Then he handed her a flower that looked just like the one she had been chasing. "Here," he said, "put this in your hair. And if you remember this flower, you will remember the way home." And with that, the giant turned and walked away. As soon as he was out of sight, the little girl ran to a nearby tree and climbed up into its branches. From up high, she could finally see the path leading home. And as she skipped along, she tucked the flower into her braided hair. When she got home, her mother was frantic with worry. She hugged her tight and asked, "Where have you been, Alara? Don't ever wander off like that again." Alara promised she wouldn't, and she told her mother all about the giant and how he helped her get home. Her mother listened, and when her daughter was done talking, she said, "That was very brave of you, Alara. Helping others when they're scared is one of the bravest things you can do." The next day, Alara went to the village square and told everyone about the giant and how he helped her and saved her from the scary forest. At first, the villagers were afraid to believe it. They thought she'd made the whole story up. But when she insisted she hadn't, they decided to investigate. So the next time they saw the giant walking in the village, they followed him to his house. It wasn't scary at all, they realized, and it certainly wasn't crooked. It was just an old water tower with a ladder attached to it. When they knocked on his door, he invited them inside. It turned out the giant wasn't scary at all. He was very lonely. The villagers spent the afternoon with him, and by the end of it, they were all friends. The giant was so happy to finally belong somewhere that he even let the children play in his garden. And every day after that, he joined the villagers in the square to play checkers and dominoes. And that is how the giant who was rumored to be scary became the most popular man in town. The end.